up and rolling, getting ready to leave Cape Disappointment State Park. Beautiful place.
It is. Yeah. Right on the beach.
We probably waited a little longer yesterday to find a place to stay than we should have. We drove about 6 hours yesterday and only made about 4 hours worth of progress for a reason we won't get into, but Maggie sure is something special. When we put her out on off the leash out there on the beach, that is just, it's one of those things where she just seems to know that not every pup dog gets to do that.
Yeah,
she just loves being in the sand and feeling it on her feet and running, doesn't she?
Yep.
Still reminds me of that first time she did that in St. Petersburg on Madeira Beach. She
definitely gets the zoomies
she
when
got the
she's on the beach.
Running around in a circle as wide as she could go with the leash until we couldn't take her off the leash there, but
we did yesterday.
We did yesterday.
She had fun.
She listens a lot better. We're gonna go dump and continue driving south. We're as far west as we can go. Well, we could get in the water, but we're as far west in the van as we could go. We're going to drive south, and we'll show you what we find. Probably the big thing for us today is going to be crossing the bridge at Astoria and getting to Oregon. That's probably the biggest thing we're going to do today that we're hoping to get done. So part 3 of our 4-part trip, is that what we said today? Part 1 was getting to Alaska, and part 2 was Alaska. And part 3 is we turn right instead of turning left and going home, and we inserted a part 3, which is seeing everything on the west coast of the continental 48. And part 4, I guess, will be going home. That's what we're going to do now. No, we're not. That's not what we're going to do. We're on part 3, yeah. One of these days we're going to wake up and go, going home. But it is not today. Tanks are emptied. We moved over here. We're going to get some fresh water. By the way, we don't ever connect up to the city field. I know a lot of people do. Every other RV we've had in the past, we always have. We very rarely have used the tanks. But with the Travato, we've used the tank. We use the tank all the time. We fill up the fresh water, and when we run out of fresh water, it's about time to empty the other tanks. It kind of works out and levels out pretty perfectly. So we have a filter that we use coming in. We replace that pretty often. We have another filter that we have inside that's connected to the water line, and that helps a lot, and we replace that about every 2 months. And then we put the water into a zero filter that filters out everything before we drink it or cook with it or do anything else with it. So it's worked out pretty well.
Think it's overkill on the filters?
It's better than being able to crap through a screen door. So first things we do is we lift it, let the water come out, because you never know how long the water's been sitting in here. We always use a filter, and we always run water through the filter. Did you see the black that came up? This is a relatively new filter. So we run water through that. And then
try not to let your hose touch the ground.
Didn't do real good on that.
No, you didn't. Usually I'm holding it, but now I'm holding the camera.
So yeah, and then we connect up the hose.
One good thing about that hose is it's kind of, what is it, 0 gravity, so all the water doesn't stay in it. So, but he just does that just to make sure there's no water.
0G. I don't know if it's 0 gravity.
Okay.
It's definitely.
I thought the G meant gravity.
It might.
But
now, now we fill it up,
and we wait.
And we don't have a lot of water pressure here, so it's going to take a while.
I don't think we need a lot of water. I don't think. Here, I'll go check the tanks while you.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Lynn usually goes inside and checks the tank level, because that's pretty important. If you let it fill up and then siphon out, you lose about 1/8 of a tank of the fresh water, and fresh water is pretty important. So what are we on now?
2/3.
2/3.
We didn't need a whole lot.
Yeah. All right, you let me know when it's full. And actually, what she'll do is she'll let me know when she wants me to stop, because we figured out that sometimes she was saying it's full, and I would let it run a little bit longer because it always shows full a little bit before it's actually totally full. And then she started doing the same thing, and then even though we were watching it, we were overflowing the water. But now we kind of got it down to a science. We shouldn't we?
The black tank's still showing 1/3.
What, pooper? She said the black tank's still showing 1/3. We've been having that happen a lot. This may be too much information, but we switched from using the Scott's toilet paper to using this cheaper stuff that we found at an RV park. What, honey? What is it? Camco?
Camco. Is it Camco? Yeah, Camco.
Yeah, it's Camco. And ever since we've done that, it seems like some of the tissue is getting left on some of the sensors, and we're getting not as accurate a reading. It showed full yesterday when we just emptied 2 days ago, or a day ago, and there's no way it was full, so we're going to have to really clean it out. But I did that last time. I flushed it out like crazy, and we still had that issue, so I think we're going to switch back to the Scots. How we doing? Should I stop? Okay, see, I told you, see, she's going to tell me to wait a few minutes. Do you want me to pull back around and rinse the black tank, or just, it's empty? Yep. Alright, we'll turn this off, and we will now put the hose back up.
Turn the water off.
So I wanted to clarify something. Every other RV we've ever had has had the sensors for the tanks inside. They're notorious for going bad. The sensors on the Travato for both the tanks are actually on the outside. But what ends up happening is toilet paper gets stuck to the side of the tank, and when it gets stuck to the side and stays there, the sensor seems to be reading that as well, there's water up to this level, when there's really not. So that's what's going on. I wanted to clarify that, because I'm pretty sure somebody's who has a Travato, and there are a bunch of us out there that would have told me that had nothing to do with it.
But the Sony flush takes care of it. When you flush it out, it takes care of it. So
it washes everything off the side, and it's all
it
done.
shows empty.
And maybe some of you guys do that every time. For us, since we're emptying our tanks about every 3 days, and we have been pretty much all year long, we do the Santa flush about every 3rd time usually. So, as long as there's no smell.
It depends on where we are and kind of.
Oh yeah, smell wise too. I didn't put the little liquid stuff.
Yeah, we got the liquid stuff.
It's gonna start smelling like crap. So you want to go now and see the
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse, okay. It said no RVs, but we'll pretend we're a van on that road.
Well,
I'm assuming they mean RVs, meaning don't come up here if you're really big.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's what they mean. If they chase us off, then we'll just say sorry. We didn't know we were an RV. Sure, I'm not any bigger than this guy right here. Walk up there. As far as I can go forward, we're in this parking spot. So it's a 1/4 of a mile loop to go see the lighthouse, and that's what we're going to go do. It's a little paved trail to get out here. This is our first time being on the west coast like this, out at where the Pacific meets the land, and all the brown beaches and all the rocks, and it's totally different for us than than anything we've experienced. But it's really cool.
Really different.
It's an eye-opening experience for sure. And we just love taking advantage of every stop that we can. Look at this. We were just down there yesterday when we were walking from the campground. Cute little lighthouse, wasn't it?
It was. It's a lot smaller than the ones we're used to seeing. But it was very pretty. The coast land is very, very pretty.
It doesn't have to be very big since it's up on a cliff like that, I guess. Very well maintained area, very great, cool little trails that are well maintained. A guy could spend, heck, we could spend a week here and explore.
Good. Yeah. It would be awesome.
We're going to ride on towards Astoria, Oregon. We are 19 miles away from there, and we should get there sometime before tomorrow.
You never know where we're going to stop in between, do you?
All right.